Sweet.
And let's go ahead and pop this one open.
Oh, I love the sound. You love the sound.
It's
I would go
Spike's Lemonade.
Oh, okay. Nice. I would have gone and gotten a beer myself, but after PAX Australia the last weekend, I think I gave myself enough alcohol poisoning as it was, so I probably shouldn't do that.
I hear you Aussies go hard, man. I've seen the Aussies in different environments with my work, and yeah.
No. Every event we have is just a piss up. It's just a glorified piss up. Like PAX Australia, right? There was parties happening every single night for developers, for creators, for industry. It was just everyone was going hard. So when you rocked up the next day to the event and you saw all of the exhibitors that you were meant to go see, they all looked just disheveled, tired, hungover, still drunk. Like
that's funny.
You go to an Australian convention, there's not a single sober person there.
Oh, that's fun.
I wish I was kidding, I really do.
Well, I'll tell you what though. The last time, it wasn't that long ago, like maybe a few weeks ago, I went to an event where there were Australians there representing from the local organization. Then there were also the British, they had showed up. And when we went to all go get beers afterwards, it was like the Aussies and the Brits were having some sort of contest about who could drink who under the table. And by the end of it, everybody had gone karaoke and we were walking back.
Yeah, that sounds like a standard night out. It really does. Yeah, I think I spent more time at the casino bars than I did at the actual PAX Australia event last time. So yeah, we all just find any excuse to get absolutely shit blasted drunk, and we go from there.
You definitely, I don't know, man. I need to visit Australia, like Melbourne and Sydney and all that.
Yeah. Melbourne's lovely. I love Melbourne. Probably my favorite.
I need to check
city,
that out.
Sure.
Whereabouts are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm Canberra, so I'm in the Capital Territory, which is a small little sub-state of I guess it's not really a sub-state. It's a state of its own, but it's in New South Wales. So it's about 300 kilometers south from Sydney and 800 kilometers north of Melbourne.
Okay.
Yeah. Not many people know we exist, but we are there.
It's got that small town feel to it. That's what it sounds like.
It's called the bush capital of Australia for a reason, because it's encapsulated in like forest. It's a capital city, but it's really not. It's a weird middle ground, really. I can cross the state in 45 minutes. Yeah.
All right, that gives me some. But Australia's huge.
Yeah, but this tiny little state in the middle of it, where I live, is 45 minutes driving distance. Okay.
Yeah, I remember the Aussies when they did their brief for us. They like tacked on Australia, and it was bigger than Europe. Like that was. That was pretty impressive, man. I had no idea. It's like when you tack on the United States, and you realize just how big the U.S. is. It's
exactly. Yeah. The landmass of our country is something that surprises a lot of people, I think.
Yeah. So hey everybody, this is StratSide 11. We are 11 deep in this shindig, and today we're gonna be tackling the thing that just ended like not 15 minutes ago. Outfit Wars 2022. Kami and I, we're gonna be doing like a post-op. We'll go over that in the scope of the talk slide. But we wanted to get together, talk our talk. He did a lot of casting stuff. I did more playing, and yeah, man, let's jump into this thing.
Let's get into it.
So, StratSides, as you know, I like to bring big data to the table. I like to do slides and stuff like that. So everybody underneath my window, you should see the windows as per normal. So the agenda, what are we gonna go over? Introductions. Introduce Kami and I, and then we'll jump into the scope of the talk, what this talk is, what this talk isn't. Then we'll go over stats at luck. There's some pretty awesome stats that I've been compiling. I've been asking, Maelstrom, Varunda, getting the outfit tracker, kind of just piecing it all together to see what the picture paints for us. And then some matches of note. And then finally, we'll jump into some discussion points that Kami and I put together that we noted for ourselves. We'll wrap up. I'll briefly go over the previews and upcoming. Won't go much into it because I just did a StratSide on it, not even like a few days ago. And then here at the bottom, we just added this maybe about 3 hours ago. Flashy completed the Season 2 trailer for the Echoes of Vanu. Your boy, wait, I guess this way, over here, Kami, has got himself a role. As he was in Season 1, he will be in Season 2. I wrote Season 2, the screenplay. Kami lent his voice to it, as did many others, Commander Cyrious and the like. And Episode 1 is nearing completion, but Flashy is now done with Season 2 trailer, and I convinced Flashy to let us show you all its sneak peek before it releases tomorrow. So that'll be at the very, very end. It's like a minute long, barely, but it's so cool, man. I'm telling you, when I saw this, Flashy's so good at this. Yeah, it's so good at this, man.
No, I'm keen to see it. I'm really, I've had no viz on it either,
and I didn't give it to you personally because I want to see your reaction in real time. That's what it is.
Yeah, sure. Right. Okay. Yeah, I see it.
All right. So let's jump into it. My name's Lanzer. I'm a NC Connery, Devil Dogs. Pretty much been Devil Dogs my entire 10-year-ish career in PlanetSide 2. Did a lot of work with PlanetSide Battles, who, shout out today, I was watching their multi-POV stream. Where PlanetSide Battles is with their production quality is where we wanted it to be when we first created PlanetSide Battles. Like, this is where we wanted to be. Oh my gosh, man. There was first-person POV of Leroy and Gumbo against the backdrop of like a little 50,000-foot view or a corner shot of a room being taken. You could see the conchs flying in first person, and they switched back to the third person. Dude, man, that is where we want to be. So props to Varunda, who I understand it was a major engine behind this. Props to everybody else, the camera people like Zulfer, working all the different angles. Man, you guys, this is where we envisioned this thing when we created this back in like 2013, 14. We did how many? 50 server smashes, working on like test server. The very first server smash was me in a mech suit. First person in a mech suit watching that. I just tell, Jank and all them, don't kill me, man, please. No, don't kill me. And look how far we've come. Look how far we've come, dude. That is professional grade. Shout out, man. So good. Yeah. So good. So yeah, 100%. I did PSB for a while, then I retired in like 2016-ish. Work got really intense, really heavy. So now I'm just a player again, and I'm a main battle tank player. I main Vanguard, and then when construction came out, I do Vanguard and construction a lot. And then, much to the rage of Lex, whenever I'm not in the Vanguard and all that, I'm in a Max. And then Kami too. I know I've heard your thoughts on that. So that's me, man. That's me in a nutshell.
Love it.
Kami, welcome to the show, man. Where are you from? Who do you play for?
So, hello everyone. For those who don't know me, I am Camikaze78. I'm an Australian-based content creator. Primarily, obviously, PlanetSide 2 is my thing, has been for years. I've been a beta player since, September 2012, so just prior to the game coming out. Started on Briggs NC once upon a time. Rest in peace, Briggs. A moment of silence, please. Briggs, once upon a time, obviously migrated to Connery and SolTech, sort of, but Connery definitely mainly nowadays, once the Briggs server showed its age and finally keeled over. And continue just to be a sort of a voice in the community to this day, focusing on video content, streaming, that sort of things. I don't really have a faction I'm tied to nowadays. I play whatever needs population, or I play whichever's got the best fight. I'm very much a mercenary nowadays. I tip my hat.
That's very courageous of you.
I play for 99% of the time. I'm playing for content nowadays. I'm playing to get footage. I'm playing with a certain view in mind or a certain aim in mind. So I'm always trying to. I just go where the fights are, which means sometimes switching off a faction. I've done my years of being faction loyal. No longer the case anymore. So. That's really me in a nutshell. Just a content creator who happens to have landed in the PlanetSide community in some way, shape, or form.
And don't let him downplay this, man. When he says he's a content creator, he's got 8.8 million video views. I looked it up last night just to make sure I've got the right data. You created your account in 2012. You have over 1,000 videos, dude. 1,000 videos, 36,000 subscribers, man. You are what, the top one, top two? You and Cyrious like trade places every day, sort of thing. But you, dude, man, I really respect your grind. I respect, and like I said in the previous StratSide, where you and I haven't really crossed paths that much. I've seen a lot of like weapon reviews, content stuff, but you've been shifting your perspective a lot, I've seen, and I want to get you on a StratSide where we can just talk about that, because I think that'd be an awesome conversation.
I agree. Yeah, 100%. That would be a really, really good conversation, because obviously, as you play the game for so long, your opinions definitely change on things. I think it's healthy to do that. I think it's healthy to challenge opinions that you've had previously. I think it's healthy to engage with people who you don't always align with, which you've obviously done with Lex lately, which was one of the most interesting. It was one of the most interesting podcasts I've listened to on that side of things. So I really enjoyed that. But it's interesting. I think challenging your perspective on this in this game, especially with a game that's so varied, is only natural after so long. So yeah, I guess that sort of does reflect in where my content's gone over the last 12 months. But I'm all for it, because I can't do the same thing over and over again.
Right on, man. I'm really looking forward to having a talk with you, because I'd love to delve into that and see what was. I've heard a little bit of what the catalyst was. I think you mentioned it in Batty's year in review not long ago, where that you kind of revealed what you talked about, that shift, that challenging of perspective. You kind of hinted at it there, and I'm so interested in delving into this with you. But another StratSide for another day.
Yep.
So let's
100%.
Let's jump in today. Outfit Wars 2022. So, well, like I said, one of my favorite slides. Don't know why. I just love this slide. Scope of the talk. What is this talk about? What is it not about? What we are talking about today is reflection on 2022 Outfit Wars. We're going to be doing a little bit of match analysis, and it won't be every single match. We're not going to go through the minute by minute of everything. We have big touch points we want to hit, and then I expect, per some of the comments that he put in, that I put in, we're going to explore a little bit of the meta when it comes to Outfit Wars. And then for what it isn't, I couldn't really think of anything. So what do you think this isn't going to be? Like, I could say things like it's not going to be an argument, like blah, 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 but what do you think this territory won't cover in Outfit Wars?
I don't. It's a tough one, Matt. I don't think we're going to really get into. I doubt we're probably not going to get. No, I think we will actually. No, I honestly don't know. Like, this is Outfit Wars has been a catalyst. Outfit Wars has been a catalyst for plenty of conversation in the communities of late, and it's something that I think we're going to talk about a lot of. It's been a catalyst for a lot of thinking, a lot of approaches to mentality, stuff like that. And that's something that I think is worthy of us touching on, which I think we've got in our discussion points later on. But it's very difficult, I think, considering this is the first of our Outfit Wars of this style, to really alleviate, to sort of go, this isn't what it's going to be, because I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. I feel like this opportunity really does give us the ability to discuss quite a lot.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm just going to leave that with three giant question marks.
I don't think we're going to target any outfits and say, we're not going to say, there's not going to be any belittling, I don't think. But, for the most part, I think this is it's just going to be, I think the question marks there are very valid, if I'm honest. Figure pointing, sure, yeah. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell an outfit that their strategy was bad.
I think you and I might differ on the whole VCATs thing, so I'm willing to bet that there might be a little bit of inadvertent name dropping and that sort of
yeah.
But let's just say at a minimum, like, none of us are really here for malice. I don't think any of us are here to downplay anyone's success that they got or how anything turned out in terms of what arrangements were made in order for stuff to happen. Like, I think Deeg's interviews really did a great job and starting us out on a good foot. And so let's call it finger pointing. Like, this isn't really about that. We just like talking about what we like talking about, and it happens to be it covers a lot of stuff. All right.
Exactly right.
So let's jump into the next thing. At a glance, Outfit Wars. When we talk Outfit Wars, this is what we're talking about. That is an instance-based, almost like a match-based game sort of arrangement where there's a finite beginning, a finite end, different than the enduring, persistent world of live play. Nexus itself is an old map. It's been around for many, many years. Hasn't been touched for many years. If people remember Battle Islands, the whole 9 yards. Outfit Wars 2020 or 2021 started with Desolation, which different.
2020, yeah.
Which was different. It was a 1v1v1 format. There was a lot of stuff that happened. Many people have covered it. I think I even covered it in my Outfit Wars number 2 called the Next Outfit Wars. And funny, a lot of things I predicted that could happen, a lot of it did end up happening. And I mean, we'll get into it, but I think a lot of good came out of this stuff. So Outfit Wars is fought on Netflix for Outfit Wars 22. Outfit Wars 2022 was fought on Nexus. It was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 point base continent. 9-point continent. And yeah, I don't really count the warp gates in that case, but as you can see, the arrangement's pretty wide. So you've got 3 in the back on either side, and then 3 in the middle. So the 3 in the back are all 1-pointers, and the 2 corners, they are 4-minute caps, whereas the middle one, which is the Nexus Omega, Nexus Alpha, they were 7-minute caps. All 3 of them 1-pointers. But then when you get into the middle, things change. You've got Bitter Gorge, which is kind of like the mid-upper, and then the Arazek, which is the mid-lower. Those are both 3 points, but they're 2 minutes and 20 seconds cap timer. Whereas the very, very middle one, Granite Head, that was 2 minutes and 20 as well, but 3 points. And as we will get into, that became a point that many people fought over, and very quickly. So then that's the image on the middle left, or just the left-hand side. The top right image, that's what it starts out with. So you have each side gets 3 territories to start with, not including the warp gate, but I guess you could say 4 in totality, but 3 that is your front line. And then from there, you can advance. The 3 middle ones, Bitter Gorge, Granite Head, Arazek. Those are the ones that you fight over. Those are neutral.
Yep. And
then the other side is reflective. And then this one, when Sammy, we were combined alliance from Connery. It wasn't just NC, it was a lot of different NC, VS, and TR. We all came together. We did a lot of sciencing, which for us means research. And as you can see here, we did some Blender elevation schematics for it, so we could figure out where it was. As you can see here, Arazek kind of has like a flatter approach, but it's kind of like on a plateau. I experienced that a lot when I was in vehicles, but that's in a plateau. But it starts getting really mountainous around the Granite Head, and then northern part of like Slate, Bitter, and Argent. So I'm enlarging that there now in real time, so you can see that so it's not would you say parallel? It's not mirror of each other. There's definitely some differing elevations where that stretch from Argent to Slate Canyon here, it's narrow. So, and that's where we saw a lot of vehicles when they were coming, like the mag push I saw in one of the matches not long ago. They kind of got in trouble going from Bitter Gorge to Granite Head. And then a lot of good battles took place between like Recursion and FIFA around Arazek trying to get into Bitter, and where you saw those front lines run into each other, and they had nowhere else to go but through each other. So kind of interesting how all that played out.
And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So that's the general opening for it. Win conditions: you must capture more bases than your opponent by 45 minutes, or capture warp gate your opponent, which means capturing Nexus Alpha or Nexus Omega, which were the 2 back middle bases of each of Nexus. You capture that, game is over, and whatever points your opponent had now go to you. And that, from what I understand, was a tiebreaker stuff. Was that right? Did I get that right?
Well, yeah,
points
so
for tiebreakers?
The points that are accumulated through the match, if you end up with the exact same wins and losses with another outfit, that's what separates you, your tiebreaker points. Exactly.
That's pretty smart.
I liked how it was set up on that front. I thought that was a very good idea.
Was there ever an instance or a match where that actually played a part?
I think there might have been one or two, but I was AWOL like during playoffs, so I think I missed that part happening. But yeah, I think there was a moment where that actually did have an impact for sure.
Okay. Format is 1v1, very different from last year. 48 player teams, that hasn't changed. And we're bracketed by server, that hasn't changed either. But what did change is you are no longer bracketed by faction. So you would have an NC playing an NC like you just saw in the final championship match for Connery, where FIFA NC played Recursion NC Connery. And last but not least, no construction, different from Desolation map last year. No Bastions, no Colossi, also different than last year. But you may Orbital, we saw a bunch of those. You may Modules. I didn't see too many, but I'm sure they were there because they don't just announce themselves. Tons of Steel Rain. I'm sure Kami can comment on this a lot when he saw lots of Steel Rain in the beginning.
Huge.
Yeah. Tons of anvils too. A lot of pre-positioned anvils everywhere. We used ours too. And then I saw some uses of Citadel shields, particularly in the Gobs Pigs match where they Citadel Nexus Omega in order to keep their A to G strong so that Pigs couldn't use AA or bursters from their warp gate. And I thought that was a pretty clever way to use that.
It was very smart and felt very rude, but yes, it was very, very good.
Yeah, we'll get into that because I have some thoughts, some good thoughts on that.
I'm sure. I look forward to it.
Okay, stats at a look.
Yep.
So I pulled my stats from PS2 Alerts and Hanu. So PS2 Alerts by Maelstrom, Hanu by Varunda. Big shout out to both of them. They have just been enormously helpful in what they provide to the community. This service. 4 qualifiers, 2 rounds of playoffs, and 1 championship, which just ended today. 86 outfits competing in total. 24 of them VS, 26 of them TR, 34 of them NC. So a little bit heavier on the NC side. And then we all played 154 matches in total. Pulling straight from Varunda, how many kills total? 295,000 kills across 100. I know. Vehicles died 38,000 times. Heals, I'm not really sure what that one is. What are heals? As in, like,
I'm assuming it's a heal tick, right? Like a tick of a heal.
Okay,
so every time you get XP for it.
The medics healed 62,000 ticks. Good for the medics.
Well done.
Is that good? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I normally don't medic. I'm an NG, so I wouldn't. And then revives. 113,000 revives.
That sounds about right. Yep.
I heard an interesting thing, and I want to get your opinion on it. I believe, who was it that said that? I think it was Falco or Cyrious who said normally what they saw was when outfit A was higher in kills, outfit B was normally higher in revives. Was that your experience too?
Yeah, I normally got the same thing. If you had an outlier where outfit A was higher in kills and in revives, something was going horribly wrong in outfit B's side of things. Because it told you that not only were they not fragging, but they were unable to keep the revives up too.
Gotcha.
Which, yeah, typically if you see one outfit leading on the fragging side of things considerably, normally outfit B is doing more revives. Their medics are working harder to try and keep the points rolling, because if that's not the case, then the match ends way sooner because you just don't have presence on the point. So,
gotcha.
I agree with that observation.
Yeah, and I suppose the logic follows the more people that you're getting, the more people that you have died, the more chance you have at revives.
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose. Okay.
Yeah,
and then
100%.
Something that I am super passionate about is that, combined arms, elite fits and Zerg fits. Those conversations, I've done StratSides on them, huge, and will continue to. So I was very interested in what was the representation excuse me, for small fits, mid fits, and large fits. And again, in a previous StratSide, I talked about like combined arms StratSide. Small fits to me means 1 to 100 players. Mid fits to me means 100 to 500 players, and large fits to me means more than 500. So what was the spread? Emerald, 0 small fits, 0 outfits under 100. They had one that was like 107, so it's kind of like on the cusp. Okay.
Yeah.
But 12 mid fits and 10 large fits. 10.
Doesn't surprise
And we're not
me.
talking like
Doesn't surprise me.
501 outfits. We're talking like 4,000, 11,000. It was a big representation from Emerald large fits. I was super impressed by that showing. Cobalt, 1 small fit, 5 mid fits, 4 large fits. So okay, yeah, kind of even-ish. Connery, 2 small fits, 8 mid fits, 6 large fits. So the mid fits came in a little bit stronger there. But I did notice though, well, I'll get that at the end. Miller, 0 small fits. It was break it or make it. 13 mid fits and 5 large fits. And then SolTech, which I didn't really have a whole lot of onus on, a lot of oversight into. 1 small fit, 10 mid fits, but I was surprised to see how many large fits are on SolTech. Many thousands. Like I saw multiple 7,000 player outfits. What are they doing on SolTech, man? That's cool.
Yeah, SolTech's an interesting beast. One that I don't play SolTech a whole lot, but whenever I do go there, it is Zerg City more often than not. It's very, like, you do see a lot of steamrolling, a lot of conglomerations of players all moving together. It's a server environment that really does have it sort of plays very differently to a lot of the other servers I've ever played on when it comes to PlanetSide in the past.
How does it play? Because I'm interested now. You got me.
It plays very steamrolly. Like you'll see one faction, and this is just mind you, I've not played this in like a month or two, so you know, old data, if you will. But I've seen a lot of SolTech. Typically, you'll see like a huge 96 plus force amass, and they'll just steamroll a lane. They won't get stopped, and eventually they'll either get bored or they'll have someone else hit them. But very rarely, I found with SolTech, it's very rare to get even fights a lot of the time. So you do see a lot of conglomerations of players moving together in big forces. A lot of ghost capping at the end of the day, and a lot of, well, I say ghost capping, I say like, you know, you got 96 plus versus a 1 to 12 or a 12 to 24, something like that.
Gotcha. So, okay. So there's like a bigger disparity, it sounds like.
It sounds like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pretty good showing in my opinion, in terms of who showed up and then how that actually ended up in the championship matches, which, as you'll see, there were a lot of outfits where there were a lot of predictions going into this, who was going to be where and when. I definitely want to get your opinion on that one, because I have a feeling that you tapped into that quite a bit.
The prediction side of things, I didn't tap into as much, but there was some shocks to me. But anyway, we'll see how we'll discuss.
So the championship bracket just concluded about an hour ago, or I guess in 30 minutes ago. Cobalt, Miller, Emerald, Connery. I didn't have any insight into SolTech, so I don't really know who won on that one. But Cobalt, you had Hot plus Hydra, then Broken Arrow versus Christian Dwyer.
Oh, yep.
And then Emerald, Gob versus Recursion. Very closely followed match. 2RAF versus VKTZ. Also, to me, closely followed, and I really enjoyed watching that one. And Miller, 1RPC versus Los Piratos, LPS. And then Formido versus Dig T. Connery, Recursion versus FIFA. Vikings versus Unity, which all concluded today. What were the results? Boom. Here you go. Hot beat out Hydra for the win. Door beat out Broken Arrow for the win. Emerald Goblins beat out Recursion. That was neck and neck until the final minute. VKTZ beat out TRAF again. Neck and neck. 1RPC beat out Los Piratos. And Dig T beat out Formido. Recursion did end up squeaking out a win. Well, squeaking. But Recursion did end up getting the win from FIFA. And then Unity ended up beating up on, taking the win on Vikings. So you just did the casting with Brad on Recursion and FIFA, which...
Yeah, we just finished up Emerald and Connery.
Yeah, the decibel level on that was through the roof. Tell me about how that one went.
So I'll be real, and this is no disrespect at all to the gold outfits, right? Because they played hard, they played well. Bread now has to put a poster up in his wall saying this is how FIFA could still win because that was the line of the match constantly. And
he's going to end up on someone's soundboard because of that.
Yeah, I need that soundboarded, exactly. I feel like that should be a channel reward for somebody out there. But no, I'm gonna be real. It felt like the gold match was meant to be the bronze match, and the bronze match was meant to be the gold match. Does that make sense?
No, tell me about that. Why was that the case?
So, were you able to watch the Vikings of Connery versus the Unity match?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay.
The scoreline was 4-5, flipping back and forth the entire way.
Yeah.
There was absolutely zero landslide in any way, shape, or form. It was the closest match I've seen, and it might have been the closest match we've seen in entirety of Outfit Wars. In fact, if I just get the stats out,
I got you. I can put on my.
Yeah.
You want to go to the Unity Vikings match, right?
Yeah. My understanding is that the kill disparity of that game, they both hit around 1,400 kills apiece. They were sub 50 within each other. They were within 50 kills of each other. We've not seen a game like that yet. It was close, neck and neck. Brett and I could not predict who the winner was.
Oh my gosh. 37 kill difference.
Yeah, we couldn't predict the win. It was
holy
that close.
Smokes, man.
The entire game, they were trading blows, trading bases. There were moments where they saved a base on 0 seconds.
Take a look at this capture history. Keep going.
There were steals at the absolute, down to the wire moment. Like, that was the game. And again, I don't say this to discredit anybody else, but the game was that down to the wire. It was the best game of the season for me. It was fantastic, and both teams played very well. And we have to remember, because these two had versed each other before. These guys faced off in the qualifiers. Vikings beat them 8-1. So Unity came back, won this one that close. They took their ball, got better, and came back. So that match really represented to me the best that this format can provide, but it also represented what quite possibly is the best player mentality to bring forward with Outfit Wars in this season.
I think that tracks well to your first and second bullet that you were talking about that we want to go over.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I have right now the slide up with the kill difference and so Vikings faced off against Unity and the Connery qualifiers round 2. And there you can see the kill difference was much greater. Almost 400.
Yep.
88% to 11% capture in favor of Vikings. But then comes the Connery Championships, and that window closes to minuscule amounts. So you covered the second one, right?
I covered both.
You covered both?
Yeah,
even better.
I casted both games.
Okay. What was your general impression?
Between the two, or
yeah, I'd say. Well, you were talking about how you thought that was like a good mentality to bring forth. Expand on how that worked versus what we saw. It was a very heavy loss by Unity the first time, but then it was neck and neck, and they eked it out.
Yeah. So my analysis is that Unity had every opportunity to sort of go, well, that sucked, And they knew that Vikings were strong because they'd versed them before. So when they saw that they had that matchup again, they had every opportunity to go, well, this is gonna suck. Let's just not bother. Let's just take it slow or whatever the case may be. But they clearly had come back to this game with a can-do attitude. They'd rejigged their strategy. They'd clearly gotten better at fragging players. They had improved at all fronts, and I really respect that mentality from Unity, and I respect the mentality from Vikings to put up that hell of a fight. It was honestly, it was so neck and neck. It was the match of the season for me, and it was the best example of
that's high praise right there.
I said it on the stream, and I'll say it again. Outfits in Outfit Wars, take note. This is the new standard. This is the new standard for play. Which is why I say, not to discredit the other outfits, I think this was the gold match.
Okay, we'll get to TRAF, or 2RAF, I mean, because I saw a very similar thing from them, but the ending was a lot different. But in any case, so when the interviews happened, I took some notes. The Unity rep actually disclosed the opener and their general strategy, which was they had about 6-ish people in armor. Some went to the tech plant to get buses, Sunderers, and then there were 12 in the air for pilots. But then they brought in Bravo to be like a force pool to bring in a little bit extra pilots in order to buff the air pool that they had. Then the goal was to have general priorities of what they wanted to attack, and then they said after that they just flexibly adapted so their actions met those priorities. And that was his revelation of what they did to go after this. And the Viking rep, I believe that was Captain Cox, mentioned that Unity was very good on capitalizing on open bases and open timers. Did you see that? Was that your experience too?
Is this Unity versus Vikings?
Yes, Unity versus Vikings.
Yes. I think Unity did capitalize very well on that. They were very quick to move. And I definitely noticed a stronger vehicle presence from them this time around, which inherently I think grants you better flexibility in the open areas as well, just naturally with how the map flows. So yeah, I'd agree with that. I think from a caster's perspective, that very much rings true.
Gotcha. And Eternal said something very interesting. He said that some are calling Nexus the double lane smash. What do you think about that?
Double lane smash?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's some validity to that, I think, because obviously you've got crossover points in the center. Like if you have the center base, you've got a bit more flexibility to do what you want, or if you have a certain angle on a flank, like, you know, there's options. But it's very clear that I don't know, because with lane smash, there's a lot of, you know, okay, hold this point. Do you have people for a back cap, or is the enemy team going to back cap you? Like, what's that relationship going to look like? I think personally, what I saw with Nexus was a lot more play on diverting of forces to other lanes. So starting fires here, and here, or trying to keep as like spots of interest going in as many places as possible. At least that's what I saw from the most successful teams on the bracket, I think.
Those who were able to distract the longest so that they could really slide in and do what they wanted to do.
Yeah, like less of an ability to slug it out down a lane and more so to go, okay, we've just captured this. It's opened up these opportunities. What else do we have to work with? Because noting that with Outfit Wars this season, if you got cut off, right? So say you got cut off, it's still very possible for you to sort of take bases from that cut off territory, still contribute to your score, and then just come back and deal with the mess at the on your warp gate later. So I definitely saw a lot more of less so focus on slugging out between lattices and just looking at the weak points and exploiting those, I guess.
I believe it was Sayl? It was Sayl who said that, or maybe it was Govs, TJ. No, it probably was going to be Sayl, who said that their main thing was attack. Wait, let me make sure I don't misquote him.
No, you're right. I know what you're saying. I feel that.
There was a lot of oh no, it was Aeflic. Aeflic got on with D in an interview, and he was talking about how the Gobs and I think pretty sure it was FrogMike.
Yeah.
He said the same thing. Gobs did the same strategy the entire Outfit Wars. The same one. Which More props to them. They did it. But Aeflic got on with Deeg after the match ended, and he talked about how they... Oh man, I have my notes right here somewhere. Oh, I must have accidentally messed it up a bit. But he talked about a rinse and repeat that they did, which was, especially when he talked about Arazak. And then Recursion was trying to hold 3 points, and Aeflic was like, we know they can't hold 3. We're just going to dump on 1, maybe 2, and then, well, stop the disrupt it, and then rinse and repeat. There was a lot more to it that I know I put down, but I must have messed something up there. But in any case, it spoke to what you just said about the distraction while you're able to zero in on what it is that your goal is.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I really enjoyed watching that match. Vikings and Unity, that second round.
Oh, yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah.
So then let's get to the big one. Goblins versus Recursion.
Oh boy.
Okay, so they faced off in Emerald Qualifiers round 3 on slide 11. And then they again faced off in the championship round 1. We're gonna go over, I think, some of this in different detail, but that first one I think was a surprise to most people how that one turned out.
Yeah. I don't think anybody in the casting realm, or anyone in the casting realm. I remember there was talk in the PSB Discord in the casters channel afterwards, being like, "Yo, what happened?" Like, everyone was fighting tooth, like, because obviously with PSB, you would know, there's only so many caster spots, right? If you're going through PSB officials, I'm lucky. I have my own account. I can go however I please, right? I get to pick and choose my matches. I don't have to fight people for them.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of people very keen on casting that match, and there was a lot of interest because everyone thought, this is gonna be the match. This is the matchup that we've been waiting to see. The 2 Goliaths of the server finally facing off, and then we all sort of looked to the left, looked to the right, and go, "What the fuck just happened?" It was no one saw it coming. And I'm sure you could say the same.
I sure didn't. I didn't know what to expect out of the match because I don't really know gobs. I didn't know that they were... I had someone, I think it was TJ, who mentioned who they were made up of. Yeah. I can't recall right now, but the outfits that I had known, I didn't know that they were a thing because I don't play Emerald, so I don't know. But I do know Recursion. They used to be NC Connery. Now they're TR Emerald, and then they switched back and forth. And so yeah, I knew Recursion, super good, still the Kingpins, and then Gobs comes out. I knew something was different when I started seeing the names of the people who were on the Gobs team. I'm like, well, there's Aeflic. Okay. Shoot, man. I started writing their names down. I'm like, there's that guy. I know I've seen him on the leaderboards. Gosh darn it. This is funny how I can't just recall. Maybe this Simply Spiked is a little bit more spiked than I thought it was. Not really sure. Clone. Delta.
Yeah, Clone. Yeah.
Turpes. Like, started seeing names and like, all right. I've seen them around. I know that I understand to be very good players. And of course, Recursion, super good players, Disenfranchised, Sayl, Zyros, and the like. Yep. But I'm like, at the very least, I'm saying to myself, I don't think this is going to be what I've seen Recursion do to other outfits most of the matches. I think this is something else is going to happen here. And it did. It just happened way more than I thought.
Mm.
But then...
Yeah, it was a...
So that first one, it doesn't show that they're warp gated. But
No, they weren't.
Okay, but after 45 minutes... 70, so what, 7 territories?
Yeah, it was a 7-2 scorecard at the end.
Yeah. Kill disparity was pretty high. Death count was very high in difference. The kill death ratio, I mean, that's just relative. Gob team killed themselves more.
They were playing NC, remember that?
Right, of course. They had to live up to the name. Interesting thing, the suicide count. I'm surprised, and I didn't really see this, but how come you don't think the suicide count's higher versus redeploy or /suicide?
Yeah, I don't know, actually. I've got no idea.
I can tell you from a player aspect, I remember us saying redeploy, and I didn't even think twice about hitting /suicide instead.
Yeah.
Because it'll be faster.
Exactly.
I don't know. Monday morning quarterbacking myself. Maybe we should have done that. Headshots, right on point with each other.
Yep.
But then comes the next match, and the gap just gets a little bit bigger.
On all fronts.
Yeah, except for even the team kills.
even the team kills. Yeah.
Yeah. And Sayl, we'll get into this one as well, but the interviews were so interesting. I enjoyed listening to Sayl. I enjoyed listening to TJ. Like, they really came from a respectable viewpoint. And Sayl, he has his viewpoints, like he's opinionated as well, but to me, he comes across as a pretty humble guy, as a soft-spoken character, I guess you could say.
Sure.
And he took the loss. He took the gloss across the chin, and he said, "Hey, Gobs it proved for the second time that they were better than us, that they were more equipped to succeed, and they were just able to pull it out." And said unequivocally that Gobs is, in his opinion, the best outfit that ever was and ever will be. I'm darn near quoting. At least he said at this exact point in time. Which is interesting, because I remember what Nuck used to be. I remember Prey. I remember the heydays of Future Crew, and these are some heavy hitters that Recursion, Sayl in particular, believes Gob has surpassed. That's interesting to me, because I put a lot of stock in what Sayl says when he has an opinion about who is the first is the worst, second is the best. That's.
Yep. Yeah.
What do you think?
Look, the numbers speak for themselves, and look, we all know Recursion is the powerhouse that they are. We've all been
undisputed.
on the receiving end. Sorry?
I said undisputed. Keep going.
Yeah. Recursion. We've all been on the receiving end of a Recursion point hold. It is not fun. All right. They are solely responsible for my KD being in the crapper a lot of the time, which all power to them. They play well. They train hard. They are like one of their heavy assaults is twice over better than I'll ever be in the game, right? But when you have a team like Goblin Jumpers come out and do that to the team that has had such a name for itself. I mean, in the last Outfit Wars, 2 teams did a ceasefire to beat them. Like
right. R18 and pigs.
R10 and pigs. Yep. We all remember it.
Yep. Caused quite a stir.
Yes, still does.
Yeah, that's true. It does. It still does.
Yeah, it still does. But when you got a team that's that strong and has that much of a name to it, and you get beaten, and I'm not saying this to be mean, but like that. Statistically like that, it's a lot. It's a huge undertaking, and it does go to show the power that is on display from Goblin Jumpers. We know they're good players. So,
and they're in alliance too, is what Sayl had said. And I'm trying for the life of me, I can't find out who makes up Gobs. Do you know?
So I'm looking at some of the player names here. You've got people like Father Time in here, Synovus. So there's some farmers of Farmer.
Oh, I know where to go.
In here. Yep.
I can go to Outfit Tracker.
Hailstorm's in here. I Am for Peace is in here. As you said, Turpits. Lewd is in here. Spy. It's just Delta. Identity Bot. There's a lot of, Slatter. That might be a meme account of Slatter, actually. But, the point being...
Oh, yeah, it might be because he's DPSO.
Yeah, there's some high tier, players in here. And the same can be said for Recursion, too, but it's very clear that there's a lot of talent on that end.
Yeah, whatever alliance they've got going on, it's right now. It is the proven heavy hitter.
I mean, yes, the novice over here with 49. He must have been playing Cloaker because he hit 44.9%.
I did have a hot take on it, but you know what? We'll get to the discussion points because I think I put it in there after the fact.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, yep. So some interesting things that caught our eye about these two matches in particular, but certainly not the only thing. So we'll run to the next slide. The discussion points. Wait a minute, I skipped one. Matches of note. So here were some matches at least that caught my attention, and we'll get into yours, but I'd rather get into yours first. From where you were sitting, what matches caught your eye along the way, along the weeks?
Oh, okay. Matches that caught my eye. The first B-Way versus VKTZ match, I think that was week 1 or something like that. That was really entertaining. I thought that was a really, really good match.
B-Way versus VKTZ, okay?
Yep. I found that one really, really good to watch. I joined the other one late, but it was Hell's Angels on Connery versus Araxis Iron Guard. That was a nail biter as well because we saw both factions attacking each other's warp gate bases at the same time, and they were, I think, 0.5 of a second difference in time allocation. That was a very interesting.
Oh my
match.
gosh, 5-4 is what it shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was down.
Right
down
at the 45-minute mark too. Good lord.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So it was similar to the Unity versus Viking.
Gotcha. Okay.
I unfortunately wasn't there for weeks 4, 5, and 6. I missed out on those ones, unfortunately. But yeah, those are some of my highlight games, I think, all things considered. And obviously, you know, we've already talked about Recursion versus Gobs, both round 1 and 2.
Okay.
The unexpected outcomes.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, one of my favorite matches happened in week 1. Pigs versus Goblins.
Okay.
And and I put revenge match in a question mark because for me, and I remember the sentiment at the time, which was people were coming fresh off the take of Pigs are about to get their comeuppance. They're about to go up against what many consider to be the best outfit ever. I mean, they were even saying then that Gobs is really, really good. And I was like, all right, we'll see. Gobs and Pigs go up against each other, and that was the match where I said there was a Citadel Shield and Nexus Omega where the A to G was being protected from the Warp Gates bursters. That was Pigs and Gobs. And let's see if I can get that match. And to me, I enjoyed watching that match. Not because Pigs got stomped. That wasn't it. I actually don't have a negative opinion, I think, that other people do of it. But what I did notice was the comms. I've been watching Chuck Baller for a while now. Like whenever he's on, I normally tune in because Chuck, to me, good-natured guy. I like Chuck a lot. And every time I listen to Chuck, I hear how do I forget his name? Tiger. I hear Tiger in the background. Like, how do I do that? I hear Tiger in the background talking to his people, just like conversating with them. He's building community, and I can see now why he has thousands of players. That aside, I was listening to their comms because one of the things that Lex and I talked about was Lex mentioned how he believes that these kind of like hobby platoons, these Zerg fits, as he calls them, they're going to get crushed, and then they're going to go back to live. All right, Zealous is of the opinion that they're going to get crushed and they're going to quit, and or they're going to experience burnout, which I don't think is untrue. However, I was listening to that match because I had a feeling I wanted to see what was happening there.
Yep.
Well, what I discovered was Pigs took it just fine. Chuck was streaming the entire time. I listened to his comms, right? Let me pull up. Pigs versus Gobs. I don't see it. That one, maybe? Oh, Goblin Jumpers changed their name to Pigs. That's funny. Pigs with an L instead of an I. So they had the same.
I've just seen
tag.
it. Yep.
All right, so let's zoom in here a little bit. I mean, I probably don't need to. But Pigs had 800 kills. I'm sorry. Goblin Jumpers had 800 kills. Pigs had 153.
I'm just looking at the stats here, and this is devastating.
You can see the stat difference. All right, so let's look at this go. Okay, and I'm not doing this to jump on Pigs because I really admire the way Pigs handled this. So let's go with this. Right here it goes.
Yep.
Play. Bam, bam, bam. Oh man, Blue's really hurting bad. Warp gate. Okay, so that was pretty fast. It only took 18 minutes for that to happen. Now let's talk about the comms. I listened to Chuck, and as they were on the back end, Chuck kept saying the same thing. He's like, "Oh man, this is a slaughter, man. We're getting annihilated." And I could hear Tiger in the background saying, "Right, guys, just keep on fighting. We'll fight to the end." And they did. And then afterwards, Chuck kept the stream on while they were on. They went back to live talking, and Tiger gave like a rallying speech. He said, "Hey, look, we got beat. We're gonna work at what we can to do better next time." And I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty close to what he said, and I thought that was very respectable.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
You know,
considering all the commentary that came out prior to from certain individuals that you know,
I'm okay naming names because to me it's not about the drama, it's about whatever it is. But do whatever.
The discourse I heard from creators like Zealous saying that, you know, you shouldn't show up to a match because it's going to kill the community and you're going to burn out your players in the process. This is why I called Hooky on that, because, you know,
which we did talk about.
Yeah, I know. The mentality to that is just saying that, well, you can't take a loss, and, you know, losing is one of the most important parts of life. And if you want to get better at gaming, same thing. So I'm not going to get on my soapbox here because I could do so for fucking hours. But
I think a good StratSide will take care of that one. I'm interested to hear what you think because I just want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're playing for the future already.
So that to me was one of my favorite matches to watch, mainly because of what I heard in the comms. That to me revealed what I needed to hear about what Lex had been saying, what Zealous had been saying. Like, I think the reaction speaks for itself. Tiger said, look guys, we got destroyed.
I call that we got beat,
but we're gonna do better. and you know what? For his point, that's what they did. They kept playing, and they're still playing. Now they're Pale Riders because they left their whole outfit on TR Emerald, and now they're TR VS. That's a whole story in of itself. But in any case, that to me was the most interesting one. And the second one was T-Raf versus, well, I guess Gobs, and now T-Raf versus Vikings. To me, that kind of flowed in the same, I don't know, venue, I guess you could say. T-Raf to me, first of all, T-Raf is a huge outfit. They're a large fit. Some would say a Zerg fit. I would not call it that. They're Hannibal's explanation in his interview with Deeg probably is the best combined arms definition I have ever heard. And that's not something I say lightly, because I did a whole 3-hour thing on combined arms for the Devil Dogs. And I think as soon as I heard his definition, I was like, oh my gosh, man, this guy just clowned me on what the definition of combined arms is. He said, they're talking about VCATs, talking about the ringers thing, and Dolphin was caught talking, but Hannibal said TRAF identity and VCAT's identity is the same. We take everyone at every skill level from every aspect of the game. We train them up. We give them the tools to succeed. We use combined arms approach to utilize tanks, infantry, aircraft, and we achieve our objectives regardless of population requirements. And I think that's the best definition I've ever heard of combined arms. For me, if I were to put this on a slide, I tighten it up a little bit. But dang, man, that to me struck gold. And that came not long after in the Gobs match. He said, hey, look, we're not supposed to be here. T-Raf was supposed to get knocked out in the qualifiers. But now, we made it all the way to the championship. Like, that's cool to me. I think that's really cool. That the Gob Alliance is what it is. Undisputed champs. Recursion, they are what they are. Undisputed. Well, I mean, past champs, and still, they won Connery.
And won Connery, yep.
TRAF, a very large combined arms outfit, making it into the championships. Facing off against Vikings, and that's where Vikings were able to eke out a victory there, and then TRAF was out. That, to me, those two match segments, I guess you could say, match collections, Pigs versus, and then TRAF, that's what caught my eye the most.
No, I can understand that. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Different highlights, but again, we had different perspectives on the season, so that's fair.
Yeah,
interesting.
All right, discussion points. You first, man, because I've got a little bit of spike. Oh, by the way, who was it? Someone DM'd me not long ago and asked, "Do I drink because I need to like soothe and kind of get my mind right?" Actually, no. I drink. I don't know why. It's kind of like a tick I've been doing ever since I stream. I drink a little bit. Not really sure, but yeah.
Liquid courage is a thing, man. Liquid courage is a thing.
Yeah. So, your observations. Walk me through them.
All right. So I'm going to drop the first one. I think is going to be the most controversial, as you can see.
Let's do it.
I well and truly believe that this is the most competitive PlanetSide has been at an official level. Now, I say official because
I saw that word.
I didn't want to discredit, the Farmers Leagues or, the IVI or Server Smash, Lane Smash, whatever, because those are all very, very just modes that they all have their different. They all have their independent, what's what I'm looking for. Their independent, skill vectors that you need to be good at to be successful at that mode, right? There's all these separate, touch points you need to get right in order to get right there. When it comes to the official level, though, we've only seen a handful of competitive events for PlanetSide, like as per Run by RPG. We've seen World Domination Series once upon a time, like way, way back in the day. I think there was other renditions of that in the past, and we've seen Outfit Wars on Desolation. And while I've always held respect for Desolation and what it does for showing off the PlanetSide experience in a, I'm going to use this term real loosely, semi-competitive format. So for me, Outfit Wars, Desolation, it tried to turn the PlanetSide formula of 1v1v1 into a competitive format. In the way of meshing that format into what it could be competitive, I've always believed that it was as close to competitive as it could ever get, because it created population limits, it created an equidistant map, it did what it could within the market of that field. In saying that, though, the very nature of a 1v1v1 format always leaves up some question of, did you win because you king made, or did you win because on your own merit, right?
That's fair.
And I can't dispute that. So to me, what we've seen with Desolation, Nexus, is raw skill versus raw skill. Who can read the map better? Who can shoot better? Who can use force multipliers better? Who can use outfit or asset armories better? It's still PlanetSide in the sense that it's combined arms, in the sense that there's all that stuff going on. But at the end of the day, it is a true test of one outfit's ability to perform over another. Where, we've seen in the past with 1v1v1, like or hate the mode, there is always room for dodgy stuff to go down that denies a team that arguably should have had the win. So I have liked just how competitive this season has been when the teams are evenly balanced. So when you've got, as I said, the Unity versus the Vikings match we just watched, some of the best PlanetSide I've ever seen. Beautiful stuff. Like, great map play, great gun play, great everything. It was as competitive as PlanetSide as I would ever want to see. So that's my first real big observation, I guess, is the fact that to me this was true competition on PlanetSide's front as fairly as it could be. It really tested the skills of these outfits in a certain way.
It did seem to demonstrate more of like I think you used this word, a purity of competition.
Yeah, 100%. I think it is a more pure way of showing off competition because, sure, in a 1v1v1, that's what PlanetSide is. And I've said this before. I've said, well, if Outfit Wars is going to be broadcast out to the masses, and you're bringing people in via that, there's a credit to showing off PlanetSide as it's a 1v1v1, so people aren't misinformed if they come to the game brand new. But in saying that, the more I think about it, the more I think Outfit Wars is not designed to be this big, Outfit Wars is a community service. It's not a marketing tool, right? I think that's very important to work out. And I once upon a time thought it could be a great marketing tool, but the more I thought about it, the more I've thought, well, no, this is a community service. This is something where the community can enjoy internally. Because let's be real, people aren't searching online for PS2 esports. It's just not a thing.
They used to. But not anymore.
They used to, but that time
MLG.
is gone. Yeah, oh goddamn.
R.I.P.
No,
R.I.P. MLG.
No, I think this is a great opportunity to. I think rejigging it to focus more on the internal community environment, I think, is a really great step, and I think this does a better job at showing that off.
And to the 1v1 people's credit, I do think it's been a long time coming. We've had 1v1v1 since forever, and the various Farmers League, Pills, Lane Smashes, Server Smash even was in it used to be 1v1 except for like the record. But in any case, we've had 1v1 formats and we've seen a lot of good reaction from it. And now, and when you say official, I take that as it's in the game. Like there is a game mechanic that supports it, whereas there's a game mechanic that supports Server Smash, but Jaeger and all that such. But it was very much a player engine, whereas this is a game engine. You hit join match, you're there. It's 1v1, blah blah blah, like that.
Yep.
That to me, when you said the word official, I was very interested to know what you meant, but very common sense means I took away as game. Part of the game. Yeah,
with Server Smash, I remember playing Server Smashes once upon a time. I used to play those all the time back on the Briggs days.
Good times.
I still remember when we beat Connery and we beat Emerald out of the gate. That was great. We loved it.
Whoa.
I remember. I was there.
Yeah, no, Briggs had a strong showing.
But no, I remember there'd be a purple warp gate up in the right corner. That it was there, but obviously the PSB guys did their level best to make sure that no one could interfere with it and everything was good. But
we called those the fun police, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. It was what we call in the industry a scuffed setup in the kindest possible way.
I take that as a compliment. That's a badge of honor to
welcome.
Me.
Yeah. All right, we'll roll with that then. No, I think it was a scuffed setup, and it wasn't officially supported by the game engine, but it was there. This is, as you say, we're in 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the most official competitive event I think we've had so far.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me, maybe round robin. My first observation was player perspective. Yes. From the player perspective, matches were quick, and it was super easy for me to get left behind. And I think after I didn't realize what I was seeing until I saw people like you casting the match, where the jumping around the match, that sometimes that can be equivalent to live, where we're jumping around for alerts and that sort of stuff. But there's something about how I didn't capture like the momentum that you and Deeg had talked about. How once that momentum gets, especially like when you get Granite Head and then you're trying to get off your back heels, and now they're at a Nexus Omega, like that. as a player, I feel like I'm getting avalanched. Like this avalanche is just descending upon my face. And I'm like, okay, now I have to go back one base. Now I have to go back one base. Okay, now I have to go back one base again. Oh, wait, the match is over?
Yeah.
45 minutes is a pretty short time. And I think that's probably because of my viewpoint, which is live is forever. And even after matches, you keep on going. So like my time distortion seemed to be a thing as a player. And it made it feel very quick and like I was constantly trying to catch up to the current events. Something that I noticed that was interesting for me.
If I may ask on that one too, because I know what kind of player you are. Were you in armor for those games?
I was.
Yeah. Okay.
I was indeed. But specifically, I was in logistics specialist. We were trying very hard to use logistics specialists to augment our spawns. We discovered that they kept dying. The beacons were dying all over the place. Sunderers were getting annihilated. How else can we do this? Well, I use logistics specialists on live by default when I'm in my tank. That's just, I like to run that way. And so we've been practicing with it a bit. And that's where I had my accidental Lex moment, where I accidentally backcapped Bitter Gorge, was it? And I stopped, I don't even remember, but Varunda like singled me out. When I was accidentally at that base, I should have been out and had redeployed. That's what I'm talking about, the get left behind thing. But I was there and I saw that it was suddenly open. I'm like, that's weird. Okay. Let me go cap the point. I was the only one there. And so I did it. Which was it? It was Bitter Gorge, and they had just steel rained onto Slate Canyon. I can't remember who we were against, right? They had just steel rained maxes and everything. And here I am, Bitter Gorge, like, let me run to A point.
On your
so I cap it, right? And then the people at Slate, I didn't know this was happening, by the way. I just capped it, waiting for my new order so that I could jump into logistics specialist, harasser my way in, or flash whatever, right? So I'm sitting there like, la-di-da. And then suddenly I realize I can cap this thing, so I'm capping it. It stops Slate Canyon from getting capped.
Oh, yeah.
And
that is disgusting.
To me, that was my, I call it my accidental Lex moment. And I won a 1v1, but then I lost my 1v1 after that. So I kept it going for a good 30 seconds, and then I got crushed. But, like, that's... oh, man. That was cool.
That's pretty good.
But to me, cool. that was an example of getting left behind. I know Recursion probably didn't have this problem. They had practice to the nth degree, where they had inspected every second of their gameplay to the point where they knew what they needed to improve upon. Yep. We kind of did the same thing, but I know that, you know, it's just a different level. We're on a different level than them.
Yeah.
So, interesting, you know, I digress, but the player perspective was interesting to me. I didn't dislike it. Desolation was chaos. I would say that was chaos, whereas Nexus to me is rapid. It's very rapid.
Yeah. Okay. The capture timers on the bases all help towards that as well.
Super. Yeah. Yep. Back to you, my friend.
All right. I think one thing we have seen is that the skill disparity in this community, of the PlanetSide community, and the player mentality of approaching skill is very much on show here. It's been very much. So obviously we had outfits that took the opponent's ball and then went home with it, right? They, you know, gobs versus pigs, you know, recursion versus wild cards, any of the games that we saw where there was just complete landslide. It was very clear that there was a lot of skill disparity on display from a lot of the outfits. There were these. You had your few. Yep, you had your few 1%ers. We predicted this would be a thing. But I think what this does is it quantifies just how varied this community is when it comes... quantifies. It quantifies just how many people in this community very much are less interested in personal skill. I'm just going to come out and say it. I'm just going to say, like, you know, there's a lot of people in this community who do not care about their ability to frag heads. And when you drive them into a even environment like Nexus, where it's 48 versus 48, you can't drop another platoon here. It shows. It shows. It shows big time. No. And I find it interesting because that player mentality is one. Obviously, we heard a lot of conversation about Alpha Wars prior to, a lot of calls for, let's, 1v1's not going to do well. There's going to be people that get stomped left, right, and center. This isn't going to be fair. It's like, bro, that's kind of the point. And, we operate in a live server environment where sorry, it's the reversal. Exactly. It's the reversal where, independent skill matters less. So I find it interesting of how the player mentality has responded to this environment. And I'm very interested to see where the developers land going forward. I kind of hope they stick to their guns with this mode, because this mode, I think, to a certain portion of the community, is something that they want to keep around. It's an opportunity for them to demonstrate, hey, yeah, we frag better, so we're going to win this. And yeah, and I think that's something. Yeah. Mm. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And yeah. And there's a place where that needs to be preserved, I think, because we all know live server play doesn't really preserve that sort of mentality. I've just got to change my headset battery. It's just dying on me. But yeah, there's a space in the community for that to be preserved, I think. And I don't think it has to be necessarily limited to Jaeger. I think there's room for it to be preserved in the primary status of the game, especially with how the live server plays right now and how, quite frankly, individual skill, it matters, but it can be very quickly nullified by someone putting a waypoint on the map for 2 platoons. Which, yeah, exactly. Which, there's room for that. I have my opinion. It's outside the scope of the talk. But I have, I have my thoughts on that. I have my opinions on healthy gameplay in the game, but I really do cherish what Outfit Wars does in this format for showing off independent skill. And it also really did show the difference in player mentality that exists in this community on such an extreme level. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And I think the people who are calling for that to get changed, I think they need a bit of a reality check in that sense, personally. Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 360 commissioner, no scope, straight in the dome. Yeah. Yep. Yep. No. That's on you. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna say this. We've heard time and time again from certain sides of the community, or even developers, even developers at times, that this isn't for you, or this side of the game isn't for you. Outfit Wars isn't for you if you can't bring forth a competitive mentality. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. Yeah. It's a tricky balance to find, and I truly believe, and this is for later, but I truly believe that a place for.
Oh no, I've been muted this whole time.
Sorry?
I said I've been muted. Thanks, Maid. My bad.
On stream?
Yeah, I accidentally muted myself and then I forgot to unmute.
Oh no.
That's okay. I don't only think it's been going on for 10 minutes, but we're back.
Okay.
Everyone heard your beautiful voice this whole time. You're good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway.
It's okay. No big deal. Go ahead.
No, that's me. Yeah, that's my stance really on the skill disparity argument. It's going to exist. The bottom line up front for me,
I think this place is great.
Yeah.
The place with 1v1 where it showcases the skill of individuals. No issue, and this is coming from a hardcore casual.
Yeah,
I'm a hard-leaning casual that does not put the time and effort in that you, Lex, Batty, and others do. Sayl, all recursion, gobs, put in to make yourselves better to where you do walk away with that W. I don't do that. I log out, I go do other things in life, and then I log back in whenever I'm ready to just chain pull lightnings. Vanguards all day long.
Vanguards, yep.
Because I have my ass and my modular.
I'm not even close to being on the level that Lex and Batty and all that are. Like they are a tier above me tenfold. They like if Lex and I were to walk into a Jaeger 1v1, he would wipe the floor with me and send my ass straight back down to down under. It would not be good. So yeah, there's different. Those guys are a league of their own.
Yeah. So back to you. Oh wait. I'm sorry. I'm on number 2. Few ringers with alliances versus many ringers or family ringers. I saw this when VKat's Dolphin started talking about his thing. And
yes.
And then the whole discussion surrounding it. I have a hot take. In the end of the day, the bluff is, it doesn't bother me. 1v1 to me kind of diluted whatever sort of, I call it advantage that would have given. But
what I did for ringers, sorry?
What I did notice, pardon?
Is this for ringers, sorry?
Yes, for ringers and alliances. I'll call them extras. People who do not wear your tag, who do not show up in your daily platoons. To me, they are external to whatever outfit you call home. All right? That includes alliances, that includes ringers, all that. Friends, call it. So what I started noticing was this conversation evolving around a topic of externals. And I saw about 4 different positions being taken place. One was few ringers are good. You've got like 2 or 3 people that aren't part of your outfit, are friends or whatever. Then alliances are good. Sammy was made up of Devil Dogs and Asti. And there's a lot of them. A lot of different ones. Sin. Gob was an alliance, is an alliance. But then there's also the mini ringers, which is where VKats fell into play. They had, like, I believe Dolphin said 75% roster was ringer. And the way he described it was they were friends. Very close friends. People that they frequently game with. Cool, man. Cool. And then people took exception to the way that was described or presented. And I believe I heard your thoughts on that as well. And then there was the last one that came out was a family of ringers, which was okay. This is where VKats. That's where I put them. These people used to be us. They aren't now. but they used to be us, or they've been gaming with us so long in our public platoons, we consider them to be family.
Yeah.
You know, at people who wear the tag without wearing the tag.
Yep.
And to me, those 4 things started popping up to describe this one issue of how do you deal with a sub 48 player platoon that you need to fight with, where every player now counts. When you show up with 40, how do you make up those 8? Do you call in a few ringers? Do you call in some favors? Do you lean on an alliance? You call up your friends. Like, how do you do that? And the differing viewpoints I saw was fascinating. Sayl had a very strong opinion that the way VKTZ approached it was, I'm not gonna quote him because I need to make sure that I don't put words in his mouth. I'm gonna search the word disingenuous. Someone said that word. Disingenuous. Yeah, right. Okay, I don't see anyone who I wrote down said that. Someone said something, paraphrasing, was it was a misrepresentation. And Dolphin's response was, there's no misrepresentation here. I've been very clear that most of them are ringers and they are very close to us, that we built that relationship over time. Okay, cool, man. Yeah. But then there's this discussion that results from that, which is Sayl's point, which I can say pretty closely follows what he said, was he worries about the spirit and the future of outfit wars and if it will become ringer wars. That was Sayl's point of view. And I didn't think that was a bad point of view. I thought, okay, that's something we should talk about. To me, I'm not surprised that it goes this way.
No, I mean,
like, just like I wasn't surprised about kingmaking and 1v1v1 and desolation, I'm not surprised that ringers are a thing. They were a thing back in server smash. People found a way to do ringers then.
Exactly. I mean, ringers to me would have been a problem if Outfit Wars launched with PlanetSide in 2012.
Wait.
When we
pause.
had...
Say that again. Yeah. Say that again.
Ringers to me would have been a problem if Outfit Wars had launched when PlanetSide 2 did back in 2012.
Why?
Because back then, we had the player population to sustain a healthy ecosystem of outfits like this.
So it would have been cheating. You would have been relying on people when you definitely had the resources.
You had the resources.
All right.
You had the everyone had the resources. There were outfits all over the shop with 48 players. That's not the case anymore. This community has diluted. There are a lot of small fits, a lot of skill fits that don't make up the cut. And it doesn't surprise me that ringers are a thing. And if you are getting ringers, like with the way in which this community is posited now, it's not. We all know, like, majority of players nowadays, at least in the higher echelon, they're not loyal to a faction. They're loyal to an outfit that plays on multiple factions. Sometimes, and you'll have people that have come and gone over the years. You just don't have the capacity to run those styles of platoons that you used to anymore. Mm-hmm. So yeah, ringers to me is an acceptable way to get people into your game and to get your roster in front of everyone. I think the state of play has changed here, where it's no long. It's kind of like, the NBA in a way, where everyone's vying for contracts of top tier players.
Yeah. That's what Sayl had said, that he's worried about that happening.
Well, like, I understand the concern, but if you're concerned about that, then don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Worry about what you're doing.
Well, what he did clearly didn't work against Gobs, who I wouldn't say was a ringer outfit. They were an alliance, is what Sayl had called them.
Sayl's in recursion, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sayl, when you worry about what you're doing, Sayl, I'm not speaking for Sayl, but I imagine Sayl looks at that and, I mean, they tried twice. They swung twice and missed.
I know. But what that tells me is that Sayl should be then working on his own game on an outfit level to match what Gobs is saying. Just because Gobs brought the ball and elevated the bar, that's not on Gobs' front. That's on Sayl's front to then match to the standard.
Dude, I just want to clip that that response right there and say, that is my argument against anyone who argues against combined arms and Zerg fits. I'm saying the same logic. I could say that copy pasta what you just said. That is my response to everybody else who says they got a problem with me dropping 2 platoons on them.
Yeah,
look, man.
That is a conversation for another day in my mind.
All right,
because we can dive into that for however long it is. And while I agree that, you know, like, we're not talking about an environment where you can bring X amount of people more than the other side, right? From a moment to moment perspective, the numbers are accurate.
Scarcity.
The numbers, yeah. The number, like you have 48. You have 48 slots, right, to bring to the 48 slots to bring to the table. You have 48 slots to bring, 48 spots to fill. If you're not making sure that the 48 that you're bringing are constantly trying to keep up with the new standard that's being set on a skill level, then I think that's on them. I think that's on them. And no disrespect to Sayl in saying that. They've been the top dog for a while.
I'm having a hard time processing that. Can you say that a different way?
So, you know, Recursion have set the standard. They set the standard for years on what the top of the play of PlanetSide looks like competitively, right?
Yep. So they've been at the top.
Well, as of recent, right? I know in Farmers they were challenged. That's different, you know. But they won Outfit Wars recently. Like, you know, they have been, and on the live server they are fiercely renowned for being, you know, to quote some, hackers. Because they're that good. If I can
get Pale Tiger on, I'd love to have that discussion.
They're not that. We all know that they've set that standard. They have that precedent surrounding them.
Mm-hmm.
They've been beat by a better conglomeration of players who understand the mode better. That's just the long and hard of it, right?
Okay.
And if you spend so much time worrying about what the other party is doing about in the skill environment and getting these players together to produce this skill ball that finally holds a candle to the one that you've had for years, then to me the onus is on you in that environment to, you know, to meet the challenge that is being made. And that's at the competitive level. In the PlanetSide 2 live server environment, I have different. My thoughts differ slightly because the environment changes slightly. So that, again, that's why I think we should unpack that separately.
Yeah. And to be fair, I didn't hear Sayl say anything that. Again, I don't know Sayl personally. When he responded to his interview and he talked about the things you just spoke to, I don't hear anything that directly counters what you said. It seems to me he took full responsibility.
Yes, and you know that's fair. I guess it's just my argument for ringers. If you spend so much time worrying about that these guys have ringers and therefore they're probably going to be a slugfest, rise to that challenge, right? Rise to the challenge. Okay, they've brought ringers. Cool. We now need to work on our ability to beat those ringers.
That is the competitive format.
Yeah.
All right.
That is how it works. But that's just
fair.
Yeah, that's me. Anyway.
Fair, man. All right. Number 3 for you.
Well, I think I already touched on this earlier.
You did, but that last sentence, though. Do it, man, because I don't disagree with you. Let's go.
I think there's a lot of outfits from previous Outfit Wars that are used to just showing up and winning some games. And I don't mean that maliciously. There are some teams who've won. It's the game mechanic,
man. It's how live works. Yeah.
Exactly. There are some teams who showed up and there was kingmaking involved because they just simply they played the map right for what the mode in. Like, I'm not saying they played it wrong. They just played the map right, but it does mean that sometimes you get to go down the path of least resistance and still end up with a win.
Sure.
You can't do that in this format. You just cannot. You are going to be forced tooth and nail to
forged by fire.
Exactly. So, yeah, to me, for that reason, this mode is not for everyone. It is for the people who feel they drive for that competitive nature. They feel like getting into it, and they just feel like they feel like fighting for their victory. Because there are some people who don't. And the live server, I think, as well, very much cultivates that, both on the macro level and on the individual base taking level. It's something I've discussed in a video a lot lately. So, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if population decline had something to do with that. There was a point in time when I remember the population level, or I guess the activity levels, resulted in a much higher frequency of conflict no matter where you went. And I recall not being able to sit AFK at a point like I can nowadays, where I show up, no one's there, it's 1v2 or 12v24 or whatever, and you're pretty safe. If I need to go get a drink of water, I'll go do that. But here, I mean, I recall a time when that wasn't true. I had to sit at the point, I had to wait, because I know that Merc or future crew could drop on me at any point in time, or DPSO. Like, that used to be a thing. Now, I don't think it is.
Yeah, the game has very much changed over the years.
Okay.
So yeah, very interesting to see what happens on that front.
So, back to me then, and I think I might push this one over to you. I haven't seen a lot of drama this time around.
No,
have you?
I think that there was one outcry, which, I'll be real, could have been a lot worse, which was when boys took their ball and went home. And
they didn't show up. That's right.
They didn't show up.
He made good on what he said. He said it was going to happen. Or no. He said, by the time I talked to him, he had revised his statement. He had said that when he pulls his people and he gets the idea of what they want, he'll execute. And the first match, they showed up. And I think Lex rightly pointed out that they showed up, they got destroyed. Okay. Second match, I think it was, they didn't show up. And he eats the consequences, and I'm quite sure he knows that. And he's already suffered it. Fair point, though.
I think besides that, it was a pretty clean season, all things considered. I mean, there's a Reddit post that I've just been sent now that talks about...
where is it?
It talks about... did any other faction other than NC win Outfit Wars? So there you go, there's that. But anyway.
Dude, I wanted to talk about that too. That's so funny.
That's hilarious. But anyway.
That's funny.
Yeah, no. To look back, that was the only major drama I saw, and I said my piece on that. But anyway.
Okay. I didn't see a lot of drama
stance on that one.
I think the VCats thing and the family ringers to me was the most drama that I had seen, and that was pretty tame comparatively.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, comparatively to the last few years, I think we've definitely seen way less in the way of drama. It's been more focused on the actual games themselves.
Yeah. Maybe we become desensitized to it. Like, it just doesn't bother us like it might used to be.
I mean, the last time around, we got some pretty ripe cases. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we did. I'm still dealing with that. That's not cool.
I think we all are.
Fair. Touche. All right, I'll hit one because I have more than you. I added more mainstream one. Oh, all right. Hot take on my part. I feel like I hear more mainstream 1v1 allegations and less PlanetSide 2 allegations. So normally when I hear PlanetSide 2 allegations, I hear we're being 2v1'd in this alert. You know, VS and TR, they're kicking our butts right now because we started out with more territory than them, and they both like, nah, fucking C, let's kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
We made the stupid mistake of starting the alert with more territory. All right. But now I hear more mainstream 1v1 allegations that I would normally hear in like another esport, like Dota, like CSGO, which is this team brought ringers. This team is hacking, which that one itself isn't, but like, it's almost like I see, like if you're looking through a scope, the 1v1v1 was looking at it third person. 1v1 now, allegations are like zeroed in on this player was doing something wrong, or this team brought, the only reason they won is because they have more ringers. Like, I feel like we've gotten more general. I mean, I want to say what everybody else is doing. It sounded a lot like that, because I read a lot of articles outside of PlanetSide too, and the stuff I hear about Dota teams and stuff I hear about CS:GO, Quake, like, they don't read dissimilar.
No.
And I don't know what to think of that.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that too. I think that's just I think that comes with the nature of the scope of the match being lessened quite a bit too.
Do you feel like? I mean, I'm not trying to be magnanimous or anything like that. Do you feel like the way Outfit Wars went is starting to reshape? I don't even know how to word this one. Reshape culture. I saw something in Sayl. I saw something in Frog and Dolphin and Hannibal when they would speak about their experience. I think I remember most of them agreeing this format worked. I noticed that the things they were saying, it just sounded less PlanetSide. It sounded less normal, like 2v1, or ringers to me wasn't really a thing until 48 1v1s. I don't remember it being a thing in Desolation.
So we're saying it's less PlanetSide talk, more 1v1 talk. Is that such a bad thing?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm noting that there's a difference in the way we focused on what we focused on. I haven't fully processed it yet. I just know that I see a difference now.
Yeah.
And it seems more the sort of thing I hear in other games where there's like 1v1 match-based games sort of stuff. Or one team versus one team match-based games. I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
I was just wondering what you thought, if you saw anything similar.
I'd say less so. I didn't really see much in the way of allegations as the matches went on personally.
That might be the wrong word.
Well, not even that. Like, finger pointing, I guess, as you said, like, it's a very different environment to what we're used to, which means that obviously there's going to be salty losses. There's going to be people drawing out, aiming to, draw conclusions where conclusions aren't going to be drawn. And you do see a lot of people at times just sort of, look for a scapegoat, look for an excuse. I think that might just be, and look, it happens in gaming all around. Everyone looks for an excuse from time to time. We all get mad, so I think that just might be that, honestly. But to put it sharply, like I didn't really see much of it, and anything I did see, I think was reaching a lot of the times. Like, I saw a lot of faction balance stuff come out, and it's like, bro, come on, it's not the faction balance stuff.
I mean, yeah, I did think it was interesting that a patch came out with the new JGX.
Yeah, that was,
Delta was having a field day in his JGX.
It was an interesting decision to release those guns midway through the season, but honestly, armor on its own is not, like, my read is that armor is not the most impactful on this map.
I didn't see that either. I barely saw that air was. In some cases, sure.
I thought air was a lot more dominant because it gave you the freedom of movement above all else for quick redeploys, but faction bias at a holistic level that a lot of people claim that there was. Like, again, there's this thread that I've spotted that's claiming NC's overpowered because NC won most of the outfit. Like, no, that's just the players who are playing the faction. It comes down to the talent pools that are there.
I believe NC was overrepresented. Let's look at the stats again.
Yes, it was.
34 NC outfits compared to 26 and 24.
Well, there you go. Exactly.
So yeah, I'm not surprised that there was a little bit more NC stats going on there. A little bit more jackhammer kills.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the jackhammer on its own is a beast of weapon as it is. Like, that's what do you expect?
Was
What
it
do you
that Cobalt
expect?
Championship match where the jackhammer, both of them were NC and the jackhammers were just through the roof or something?
It does not surprise me. Does not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh well.
So I might have been reaching there. I'm not sure. I saw something different than what I normally see. So
I would say I'd say that's a fair assessment though. Like I just didn't see it as much. Maybe because I wasn't on the field. I was casting the whole time. I had a delay on the stream. I wasn't even reading chat half the time.
Lex says aiming is so 2013.
Hey yo, shit, Lex.
I'm sure he's talking about the aim assist thing that he tweeted about last week or something like that. Oh.
Yeah, good old aim assist conversation. Yep.
All right,
Yeah,
back to
preach,
you.
brother.
There's plenty of room to improve on this still. What do you think?
I'm mainly coming at this from a caster's perspective, right? This format, while it is a lot easier to read than 1v1v1, and I'm spending way less time staring at the map, it was a bitch to cast at times, like racing around the map. Like the observer camera is not built for casting at all. It is a very, very clunky piece of rudimentary technology that hardly ever works.
It's still the same as when I got it back in 2013. The controls.
I got it at the same time too. So I know what you're saying. Yeah, it hasn't had any iteration, which is fair because that requires dev time, and only like 0.05% of the community has access to an observer camera, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, fair.
So if they're looking to propel Outfit Wars further, I would love to see them iterate on that a bit. You know, give us more tools. But I can imagine that would be a huge load on the engine for like even if we want to do like first-person cameras officially in the game engine. Holy shit, like, way to break the game. So, I can only imagine.
Is that a big thing? I'm not a developer. I don't know. That takes a lot?
I can only imagine it would. I'm speaking very theoretically and hypothetically now, but, you know, there's a reason we don't have first-person kill cams in this game, right? Like, you know, recording the image, sending
like
it to the new
Battlefield or whatever?
user. Sorry?
Doesn't Battlefield or Call of Duty have first-person kill cams when like you...
Yeah, Call of Duty does.
Okay.
But I think, yeah, generally speaking, there's a lot. I think you know the map could be tweaked slightly to offer more, you know, flexible momentum. I think air. There was some places where air was just dominant, and you know maybe you could tweak that a little bit.
Yeah, what was up with Arazek? It was like the redheaded step. I mean, no offense. It was like the. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It was like ignored.
Yeah, it was the red herring of the base world. So there's definitely room to improve. I know there were allegations out of one side being biased as far as like map layout was concerned, which I call horseshit on.
What was that? What side was biased?
Some people were saying that terrain, like the terrain of the map.
Let's take a look, my friends. We have that.
Yeah, I call horseshit though.
So which side would they say?
I think they were claiming blue had the advantage.
So North had the advantage. Okay.
Or maybe I don't remember.
If I had to guess,
my chat once upon a time, I dismissed it immediately.
If I had to guess, I'd say the South takes a little bit more time to get to Arazek, right? But then you have that wide bend up around the North that kind of takes you out of the way, whereas you have a straighter, narrow, and I'm talking from a vehicle player's perspective.
Yeah,
I can cover more ground going straight in the South. But in the North, I have a little bit more windy roads to get through, so that there's a lot more room for error there. If that's what they're saying, okay, maybe, but I wouldn't. If I were to lose the match, I would not point to that and say that's why we lost.
Yeah, exactly.
We can improve on it.
I think, yeah, agree.
But not because I made like a left-hand turn. Nah.
Not a left-hand turn.
Yeah.
I would rejig, you know, a couple of things here and there, but I think generally speaking, the main improvements I think I would like to see is just readability for the observer side of things, make the casting experience a bit more enjoyable for the viewers primarily.
Props to you, man, for getting through that. That is not an easy thing to handle.
Well, I mean, I definitely didn't provide anywhere near as much content as a lot of the other, like Deeg, for example. I think he was there every single week. Like, mad probs to Deeg. The PSB guys, they were the backbone of this season, the casting side of things.
Archie,
I took a 3-week hiatus. hiatus, man. So like I did not do anywhere near as much work as half the guys that were on the cards there. So
Yeah,
the credit needs to be thrown their way in particular.
PSP still going strong.
Yeah, exactly. Still going strong. I also don't think there's a need for a 20-minute prep time. I think that slows things down a little unnecessarily too.
What prep time? Oh,
the 20 minutes.
I would disagree. From my perspective, 20 minutes, even though we knew what we needed to go in, the sorting mechanism is just, it's difficult because those bugs that we encountered many times. There was one time when I got into the match, yeah, and that wasn't even the worst one. Some people end up on the wrong side of the match, as in they end up on the other team, right?
Right.
Well, I ended up on the match one time, and I had to get out, okay, because I was a sub. We thought I was subbing in. I needed to sub back out.
Right.
And when I left, every time I tried to go to Amherst or whatever open continent, it would throw me back into the game as a 41 player, the 41st player.
Oh,
so I submitted a bug. Okay. I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to mess this up. All right. I'm not trying to do something wrong here. But I was I could keep joining back. I was the 41st player if I wanted to be. So it was so interesting how that worked.
So all things running smoothly then, no bugs, perfect, you know.
Then probably 20 minutes is probably the max I would give.
Yeah. Okay.
I still think there's something to be said for how much time it took for us to pull and arrange ourselves. The terrain didn't give me a lot of... It wasn't oriented to give me a lot of time to figure it out. The way they're kind of like little mini islands with divots and everything. A lot of people ended up blowing themselves up.
Okay. Right, well, I'm happy to be proven wrong on that. Happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah, I would say 20 minutes probably was the right number for what we had. Okay. I get from the perspectives of your perspective. Yeah, you're sitting there waiting for 20 minutes. For me, we're yelling at each other like, get in Alpha. Why the f are you in Bravo, bro? Get
yeah, I take your point. Okay, no, fair enough. Happy to be proven wrong on that one. That's fair. But that's sort of everything I had for it, really. Yeah, all right. That's everything I had for this season.
My hot take, number 123.
I see this one. I do see this one.
Dude, I can't tell you. I was more interested to listen to the interviews than I was watching these matches. And it wasn't because they were blowouts. It wasn't because, to me, I would say, like, uninteresting. It's almost like... Well, actually, I would scale that back. Some of them were so uninteresting, even for the ones that were really close. And to me, it's probably because I'm a filthy casual in that I really appreciate the 1v1v1. There was always a surprise, the king making. Interesting, surprising, and a lot of opinions there, okay? But the 1v1 to me was like, all right, you bang your head against the wall until one of you wins. Cool, one of you's gonna win, great. But then the interviews really delved into, this is how we approached it. This is how what we said, what we thought was going to happen, it went wrong. And then here's where all the, I didn't really like that you brought all these ringers and you presented us this and that. And the interviews to me said more about the game than the game did. Yeah.
Interesting.
The game to me, by the end of it, the way things looked to me was, the game was the preamble to the interview.
Wow. Okay. Interesting take.
Yeah, I haven't fully fleshed it out. I just know that I was more interested in skipping to the interview than I was watching. And maybe by, how many was it? Maybe by the 154th match, it really didn't make a difference to me that Gobs and Recursion were going at each other again. Because I knew that one of them had to get to Granite Head, one of them had to go through, what was it, the hydroponics to get to Nexus and secure substation, and like, all right, there's going to be an air battle, unless you're Recursion, in which case you don't dilly-dally with the air and you just go straight for Granite. I mean, that was cool to watch.
Yeah.
But it seemed like with a 1v1v1 and a match and even a mirror map like Desolation, the chaos of war had more to say there, whereas here, and maybe that's where you're coming into play, it's not made for me. Maybe it's not made for me.
Yeah, interesting.
But that's
no interesting take. I didn't do many interviews. I'll be honest, because I don't have the interviewing pool that say Archie and Deeg or even PSB guys have. So I didn't get the opportunity to do many interviews, unfortunately.
would you have wanted to?
Maybe I don't know. Like, I was very cooked by the end of all of these games here. So, and I, with trying to run the actual content with the outdoors content back and forth, I did a lot of sleepless nights. So, by the end of them, I'm pretty scrapped right now, actually. Yeah.
And thanks again. I mean, I know this is right off the cusp, man. I got you.
All good, brother. I was literally up at like midnight last night, piecing together the stream still because of what happened to my PC like a week or so ago.
Yeah, when you were telling me about that, I was hoping, but you made it. Yeah, you made it work.
It was a rough time, but no, yeah, like, so I don't know, like, I will admit there were a few matches where I was yawning. Where I just thought, all right, let's just get this over with, because it's clear this is where this is going. But and then there were the standouts where I thought, okay, this is what the mode should be playing like right now on even footing, and it's great. So yeah, I was hoping we'd get more even matches, but we got enough to keep me entertained for long enough, I think. But that's how I approach it, I guess.
Pro tip: just keep Kami entertained. That's all you gotta do.
Exactly. Yeah, just keep me entertained, fellas. It's not that hard to ask.
My last hot take. Seeing real player characters was clutch.
Real player characters.
Yeah. Well, I could see Aeflic's name. I could see Sayl's name. I could see HannibalForge's name. I didn't know who Dolphin was until I saw Dolphin's name and then him pop up in the interviews. There was something about the connection between, like I said, Server Smash. Jaeger accounts are all, Server Smash 98, like VS 41, like it didn't mean anything. But attributing kills to players and people who I've liaised with and I've just known over the years, that was second to none to me. Something about that connection made the fighting more real. And that's where I would say maybe I was reaching, or I haven't fully processed, like the matches seem less interesting. The people were more interesting in this than Desolation. Yeah. But the kind of, I don't know, predetermined format this didn't speak to me. But like I keep saying, Aeflic. I watched Aeflic and Leroy and Gumbo. I don't even know Gumbo, but I watched his POV from PSB, and there was another one they kept showcasing as well. That was cool, man. That was cool that I could then tag that to a specific player to be like, right on. So this is how he handled a conch. So this is how he did that, and where he was looking. Something about that. I take your point. Yeah. What? I know you didn't have multi POVs for you, right?
No. Brad and I tried to get something sorted out on the cusp, but no, we didn't have enough time to get multi POV going, unfortunately.
But even
I
then,
would love to.
You could see who was doing what. How did that differ than last year?
I definitely think there was a lot more personality to it. Like, there were players that I was able to like go, oh shit, this like NS Robot Ninja, one of the best light assault players out there. Dude was pulling off some clutch as hell plays, and it was great to see. I have big interest in, like, because there are personalities out there, in all esports. The player stories that we see from, like, your CS:GO tournament, like, you build this connection with these pros that are like, yeah, this is awesome. And while PlanetSide doesn't technically have a pro scene, it was cool to see these notable players do their work, and you were able to call them out and say, hey, this is how you're doing. And
number one in anchor kills across the whole game.
Exactly. and you see Varunda pull these stats that you can call upon, and you give it a shout out to Varunda. It lets you sort of go, hey, this player's doing this well, and here's why, or here's how well, and it's just really cool to see. So I this season was a lot more personable, and it really celebrated personal stories quite a lot, which I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah. Shout out to Falco, though. He's in the chat, and he casted a lot. I watched a lot of his streams, like when he he casted the Sammy match for us when we faced off with Fate. He did with Deeg. He did some stuff in AODR. What were you gonna say, Kami?
I was gonna say, like, I spotted a couple of Falco's casts, and the production quality on them was next level. So Falco, I pride myself on production quality, dude, and you put me to shame this season. So mad props to you, brother. It was a very, very. Your streams will be, I think, the bar going forward for production quality for Alpha Wars. I know I'm gonna reference your production quality and use that as a goal to hit. So yeah, GG's, dude.
Yeah, man. Like we were talking about in the very beginning, Falco, was when we first started PSB. Where you are now is what we had envisioned our production value to be. You've all got you're there. You are there, dude. Those multiple POVs, especially, I knew you had reached it when I saw you had featured Leroy and Gumbo and the third person. And I'm like, man, that's it. That's what we were at. I tried negotiating an agreement between another corporation who was doing something like that, and we didn't get there. But they had that technology. And to see you all doing that now, just like, I know you said Hanu, so Varunda. Dude, you guys are killing it. Absolutely killing it. I'm so proud of you guys. Yeah, so seeing the real players, that killed it, man. That was so cool to watch that.
Yeah, great.
And I didn't know HannibalForge, Two-Raf guy. I didn't know who he was, but really well-spoken character. I was quite impressed to hear him and then Dolphin speak for himself and see how that played out and who they were in the matches. That was really interesting to me.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
100% agreed.
Okay, I think. What else did you say? What would you like to end off with for these points?
I don't know. I haven't really got any additionals upon that. Like, you know, it was a good season. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys watch the Chinese streams, but I think a lot of Varuna's multi-POV setup is derived from the Chinese crew. I've never seen the Chinese streams.
No, I mean either. No.
That's interesting. Hey, Falco, if you have a link, I hope you can shoot in the chat and see if it'll work. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll see in the automata or whatever. But cool, man. Let's move on to links and data. So now we just completed, we're about to finish StratSide 11. I did a whole StratSide on the up and coming, what I had done for the previous. Don't need to get into it. I did add, though, that I've been talking to Chuck and also Aeflic about getting them on a StratSide.
Get Aeflic on board for sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I just have to work around scheduling, but then otherwise get them in here. And, you know, I think that'd be awesome. Aeflic and I have known each other for a while. I mean, we've a small community, so. And then I also, like I said, I want to get NJ7 in here. I want to get Pale in here, working on that. And yeah.
Nice.
And then let's go to the last thing. So, as we mentioned, right? Kami and I have been involved in a project, and that project is led by Flashy. Flashy. Let's see if I can. Flashy here is a very super talented animator, and he did Echoes of Vanu, which was very well received. And I'm talking professional grade level animation, in my opinion, at least. And I was super impressed. And when I saw Flashy, if you listen to the dialogue and you're a native English speaker, you can tell that maybe English isn't his first language, which is true. German is. So I offered help because I'm a novelist as well and that sort of thing. And so I helped him write season 2 and I mainly focused on the dialogue. Kami, your boy, is one of the characters in that show. FYI.
Which I think I still need to do the voice acting for, honestly. I don't know if I've actually sent that through to him yet. I need to do that.
Well, the good news is episode 1 didn't rely on your character, and he's pretty much done with episode 1. I think episode 2 is where your person comes in. So yeah, send it to him. Because Dude, man, I'm so looking forward to this. But anyways, Flashy finished the trailer earlier today, and we convinced him to let us show you all the sneak peek, 56 seconds long, of the trailer, which will release tomorrow, and then the episode 1 will show sometime after that. So, without further ado, Kami hasn't seen it yet. I want to get his take in real time. All right, so let's. Google Slides has this great thing where you can now embed YouTube videos. So.
Oh snap! There we go.
Dude, it's so clutch. So we're gonna try it now and see if it works. I got my browser up, good to go.
Yeah.
And
here we go.
do I need to? I might need to send it to you.
No, I've got it.
You've got it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let me know when you hit play.
I will hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Destruction of conglomerate property. The death of NC soldiers. Vanu visions.
The prophet himself spoke of the warm nature of the Vanu.
You imply our prophet misinterpreted the way of Vanu at your peril.
If the other empires only knew the threat we all face.
You will work until this debt is paid.
Commander Tyler died.
Damn. Boy be good. The boy be good.
That's so cool, man. I'm gonna play it one more time because some of it was someone was doubling up, but you've already seen it, so I'm just gonna play it one more time for them.
Destruction of conglomerate
But
property.
you can keep on going.
The death of NC soldiers.
So
Vanu visions.
that's so cool. That's so cool. You can see the way he recreated the wildland. You can see there's something afoot with the Vanu.
The prophet himself spoke of the warm nature of the Vanu.
You imply our prophet misinterpreted the way of Vanu at your peril.
If the other empires only knew the threat we all face.
You will work until this debt is paid.
On the actual website. Yeah, it's been
Commander Tyler died.
working on for quite a while. This is cool.
It's,
I'm pretty hyped.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That is pretty cool for sure.
So that's it. That's a sneak preview. It'll come out tomorrow. And yeah, then episode 1, as I understand it, is almost done.
Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff.
That's it, dude. That's what I wanted to go over. And I know you. So it's what, like 5 p.m. for you?
5:30. Yeah.
Okay.
I need to take a shower and get some food at some point.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. for me, so we'll go ahead and close this bad boy out. I know, man, but hey, it's the best we could do, and it'll work. It works for what we've got going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, huge props to Flashy, and then we'll be starting season 3 before you know it, and there's some cool stuff we got planned. Yeah. So
awesome.
Hey, Kami, man, I appreciate your time. This was a great discussion, great outbrief, I think, coming together on.
Great, bro.
And I will be in touch about a StratSide, particularly to you, your outlook, how it's evolved, and there's some things I want to hear, I want to listen to.
I'm down, brother. It was a good chat. I appreciate you having me on, and thoroughly enjoyed the chat. It was a good one.
Likewise. So StratSide 11, everybody. We'll close this one out. Have a good day.
Have a good one, all. Take care.